Okay, this is just a short little tutorial I'm gonna give you on flame, but you wanna figure out your direction. So when you draw flame, like say you wanted to draw like a flowing flame, you want to just kind of follow a certain direction. A good way to start is just kind of commit to it, and then you can add extra like spikes. A good way to figure it out is just to simply like look at some references. Like you'll see that fire isn't solid. It's like, you know, it licks, it comes off. It's kind of like water in a way in terms of flow. But there's always like a root, and it's always the same, and it comes from a specific point because fire grows. And depending on where like the wind direction is, like in this case the wind direction is flowing this way, and the way fire licks against it is more like an up direction here, and the root is just going to be somewhere along here, and everyone kind of does fire a little bit differently, but it always kind of follows the same principle, and my principle isn't perfect. Fire also has a root down like toward the bottom here, like there's kind of an inside sometimes, and mine isn't perfect. It's always just gonna kind of be, but you also have the flame that kind of goes up, like, and it always has a root to it, so there's always like kind of a starter flame. A good way to start is to kind of figure out what your direction is. So it's up, and you kind of want to draw like this, and it's up, you know? And it's kind of a good principle. I'm just kind of doing like a quick little thing here, but it's really good to just kind of overall look at some references. Now, another way to like paint flame is really easy. So the base of a flame is like, I'm just gonna use my blur tool here. You kind of start out like this, like flames are blue, you know, flames are blue, and you can add like another layer on top of that, and the next part of the flame is kind of like an orange. Like, I know it's highly saturated, I'm doing this so you can kind of see it better. It's very luminescent, and it's not really going to leave like the base of the, oops, it's not really gonna leave the base of the flame here, so like that. This is a really good way, I guess, to draw like candles and stuff, and you can lower the opacity too as well. In fact, I like to bring the blue a little forward a little bit, kind of put that in the middle so it sandwiches, and then this is kind of the color principle you want to follow for it. It's what I use to make the candle in my schedule. If you look at my schedule, it's kind of like a good rule of thumb when you draw flame, is to kind of look at it that way. And yeah, and a really cool thing that you can also do is once you have like all your base colors down and whatnot, actually let's bring this up here, is you can actually take like your blur tool or like a soft and smudge this out a little bit. Like if you have if you have Procreate, I take the big soft brush and I just kind of smudge all this out into each other. It's really cool. No, and then you can like add opacity and you can change the color. And another thing I like to do, really cool, is add like a little bit of a cream orange for color, and then you kind of want to like just take, yeah, we're on another layer, and just, oops, my bad, and just kind of add like a soft glow, like maybe not that, but like around it, like this. You can even put it behind it, and it kind of creates like that effect. So, and the thing about flame too is that sometimes it can create shadow as well, so you can add like a muted color underneath, to kind of like contrast where that flame is coming from. Yeah, because it's so cool how Flame can both cast shadow and light at the same time. Let's see how I add that shadow underneath there. And you can do this with like... So let's like collapse this whole fucking thing right here. Sorry for swearing. We can flatten this whole thing down. And let's just try to like duplicate them, you know? We can add like multiple flames to like think of it that way. Like they're all gonna follow the same principle. They're all gonna have like the same thing, but sometimes a really cool thing to do is, and I'm sorry, I'm still really sick. You can like blend the two together, and I do this when I'm like really lazy. But yeah, fire, just kind of play with it. Like play with it. Oh, easy way to learn fire is the paint, because you can just block it in, figure out your direction, like really figure out what that flame is doing. And then what you can do is, if you want to, you can add like the line art on top of it. Like you can add line art on top of it. That's a little too smudgy for me. You can totally do that. You can add like a darker orange or something. You can define your lines that way if you wanted to. It's a really cool way to do it. Do like thin lines. When it behaves, you know, you can add... This is a great way just to kind of define shape, is to paint first, and then if you wanted to, you could totally add like your line art on top of it and see how that does. But yeah, I hope you like this little mini tutorial that I kind of did on Flame, and I hope it helps. I hope it does. Okay, happy flaming!